Hey there, welcome to the Seroma Entertainment page. My name is Jody Seeley, and we are 2 days away from Diamonds in the Rough happening this weekend, our virtual emerging artist showcase, which we are so very excited about. We are joined by one of our incredible sponsors. Scott Clements is with us today. Scott is with Principal Projects and also Tracks Reports. And thank you, my friend, for being such an incredible supporter of this stage over the years. Like, this isn't your first year hanging out with us.
No, it's not my first rodeo indeed, but it really goes back to what Angie at Seroma is trying to do. Is if we do not build stages for emerging artists to play, they are not going to have the opportunities down the road to be as successful. So supporting them now, we're supporting them for their entire career.
Well, and I remember 9 years ago, because this is our 9th year for Diamonds in the Rough, of it being sort of this discussion around a table and Angie saying, what if there was a stage where artists across the country could come together and have a showcase opportunity? Because they don't get the same showcasing opportunity the big guys get during Country Music Week. And here we are 9 years later. Mind you, we're having to pivot a little bit with thanks to COVID, but I'm looking forward to this virtual experience that we will launch on Thursday night.
Yeah, if you build it, they will come.
That's what we're hoping. So we're going to be on multiple platforms. We will be on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube all weekend long, and we look forward to people having some fun with us. But what I wanted to chat with you today, Scott, is there's a cool thing happening behind the scenes for the artists of this stage. Now, if people aren't familiar with this man that I am chatting with today, he is a radio veteran. He was in it for what, 105 years? Yeah. You've also sat on the board of directors for like New Brunswick Music and the CCMAs. You know your stuff. And I think through COVID, where I wanted to kind of start some background for is I was curious if the playing field got leveled a little bit, because you and I work with artists who are what we call emerging or independent, and they're vying for radio spots across the country against, again, who we call the more established big artists. And how has COVID sort of come into effect with this?
Mostly on the marketing side, I would say. I mean, if you are a great songwriter pre-COVID, you're going to be a great songwriter post-COVID. But it really helped on the marketing side of things, where even though we couldn't get our clients into radio stations for radio tours, neither could Gord Bamford or Dallas Smith or Brett Kissel. And all those guys still visit radio. It's an important thing to do. So everybody was disadvantaged equally. And it was those who could pivot and sort of think of how we can capitalize on this positively that would do the best. But everybody started out at the same starting line, which is not something that we generally see when it comes to emerging artists and independent talent.
Which is, it's kind of cool at the end of the day.
It is. Well, it goes back to that old Cantonese saying that they use the same word for crisis as they do opportunity. So we developed virtual radio tours where we would either do something that was pre-recorded but customized to every market, so they would actually talk about their experience in that town, pre-record it, send it to the music and program directors, or we would schedule something similar to what you and I are doing today, where it would be a back and forth. So it was just a matter of saying, well, we still need to market records, we still are earning royalties for our clients, but we're going to have to do them differently. But what was interesting about it, and this was my huge takeaway, is there are things that we learned because of COVID that I plan on keeping because they were just smart marketing techniques. So it's odd that this had to happen this way, but it certainly was an opportunity for us to learn to do things differently. And that's one of the core values of Principal Projects, is we don't believe in the concept of this is the way it's always been done. We want to be disruptors. We want to rattle the cage a little bit. We would rather do it on our own agenda than the health director's agendas, but here we are, and so be it.
Well, and I think what's nice with that is I've loved the word pivot, and I've loved the word innovation that has come through COVID. And we've done that a little bit with your sponsorship of this stage this year. Now, as we've said, you've been a supporter for a number of years. And in the past, for example, you've been the guy who's printed the lanyards that everybody wears with the schedule on it. And so this year we were like, what can we do together that still gives the artists a little something and helps promote this stage. And you came up with this really cool idea to gift them a really unique opportunity. So how about you tell us about what the artists are, say, I don't know if they're really competing, but what they're vying for?
Right. So one of the things that came out very quickly, about 30 days after COVID happened, was this idea where artists still had to earn royalties, because that was one of the few ways they were still making money. There was no merch sales. There was no performance. There was no door for live performances. So people still needed to earn money through royalties. But at the same time, some of the people that we work with still had day jobs and lost their day jobs and ended up on the CERB. And if it's between releasing a song to radio and your mortgage, well, I know which one I would pick. Definitely, the mortgage. But we didn't want to hinder them from still earning revenue. So we came up with this idea called Tracks Premium. If artists didn't have a lot of money, but they had a lot of time, maybe what we could do for them is design something that all the professional logistics are taken care of. So the song is delivered to radio. They have access to all the program director and music director information. And they can actually go in and literally see on a weekly basis where their song played. They could do a lot of the work that a radio tracker would. And in some ways, I'm kind of putting myself out of business, but it seemed to make sense at the time, and so much so that I want to continue doing this. But basically, for a flat rate fee, artists could cover off their entire year of radio releases. So multiple radio releases, access to the tracks report, access to all the contact information. But then I thought to myself, why don't we literally just gift this to one of the people who have helped out provide content to Diamonds in the Rough. So, I mean, Diamonds in the Rough is a great thing for us to work with independent artists, but if we don't get people signing up for these things, we have a pretty empty stage. So at the end of this, one band or solo, male, female, but one artist is going to have the opportunity to receive 12 months of the Tracks Premium. All their radio releases will be taken care of for a year. They'll have access to all the data, and literally at no cost, zero cost.
Amazing.
We're pretty excited. Yeah, we're pretty excited to see what who's going to receive this, because that's not in my hands whatsoever. But the opportunity for them to have a tool in their toolbox that they didn't have before, and not had to have been out of pocket for it, and all because they realized the great work that Angie is doing with Diamonds in the Rough, and provided their time so that the audience, quite frankly, and industry, managers, booking agents, radio people have an opportunity to learn that these independent artists deserve as much a chance as the big guys.
Absolutely. And I think it's nice because not everybody gets that opportunity, or thinks they can, or has the guts. I mean, we have a lot of incredible artists, and I think every year, I'm sure you feel the same way, whenever Diamonds in the Rough comes up, is you get this really cool feeling that the future of country music in our country is really strong. And there's some really talented people that are just working their butts off to get to that next place. And this contest, this opportunity for them to win a year's worth of support to release to radio is, my gosh, like, you have a value on it, but it's honestly invaluable. This is incredible.
Yeah. And it's up to them to rise to the occasion, to have a great song and a great story to tell, all those sort of things. Like I say, it's just, we want to give them the opportunity to be successful, and those who rise to the occasion will be successful. And that's what puts the love of country music in my heart every single day.
100%. So I'm saying to you, I'm going to talk directly to the artist of Diamond in the Rough 2020 right now. This guy this way. I'm like, I don't know how to point backwards on this. This guy here has an incredible amount of knowledge and experience in this industry. You will not work with a better human than Scott. So do not miss this opportunity, because he's able to coach you and help you and support you. And you've worked in the industry. You're the guy who added songs into radio in the past. You know what they're looking for.
Yeah, the difference now is I sit on the other side of the desk.
Yeah, which is a weird place to be. I totally get that with you. But it's a really great opportunity to partner with a really knowledgeable guy. So how do they know how to enter? Do they know what they're doing for that? Should we remind them?
If they are on the bill for Diamonds in the Rough, they're already in. That was the special thing about this, is we didn't want to make it a popularity contest or have them jump through a bunch of hoops. We wanted them to be involved with Diamonds in the Rough, and your involvement in Diamonds in the Rough and making a commitment to further your career through this platform is your ticket to be involved in this.
World's easiest contest right here. I love that. So they're already in. And when will we be announcing who gets it?
You know, truth be told, I don't know, because I specifically asked not to be involved in this because I don't want to taint it. Right. I don't want it to be a popularity contest of people I like or people who live near me, or I literally want no involvement in this until I find out who it is, and then I will have a lot of involvement with that person.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, we'll circle back at the ends of Diamonds in the Rough. So probably sometime next week, we're going to circle back and we'll bring you and the winner on, and we'll have a little conversation.
That'll be fun.
And let everybody know what that looks like. I think that will be really fun, because I don't know about you, but like, I'm dying to know. And after you watch everybody perform this weekend, then you're really, really going to want to know, because we have an incredible lineup every single day.
It's the second golden age of country music. If we think of the 90s as the first sort of true mainstream country, with your Garth Brooks and your Alan Jacksons and Brooks and Dunns and Tim McGraws that came along. Right now is our second golden age, but the gold is north of the 49th parallel. It truly is an amazing time to be in country music. It is by far the #1 radio format. It is earning massive revenues through traditional broadcast mechanisms and satellite radio and platforms like that. We're seeing gains on the streaming platforms. We're not quite where we need to be, but in some ways it's good to not be #1 of something, because now you have a goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and then I feel like there's 1,000 more questions. Maybe we're going to have to do a podcast show, Scott, because I think of 100 things I would want to have more conversation on the Canadian country music scene. But we'll table that. We won't make you listen to that discussion today, but it will come, because I just triggered something in my brain there. But see, that's like, what, we're 13 minutes in with this guy, and I already have more ideas. That's what working with Scott is going to be like for you, is you're going to generate really cool ideas and have a whole lot of fun doing it, because I don't know if there's anybody who has more passion about Canadian country music than you, my friend.
Thank you. It's an honor to serve people. I mean, I'm not musically talented whatsoever. Trust me, you do not want to hear me sing. But this is how I give back to the music that shaped me, shaped my life, and radio, especially. I mean, everything that I have in my life came from radio, including my wife, of all things. Everything is just, I'm so passionate about broadcasting. I'm passionate about country music. And I just genuinely want to help people. That's really at the end of the day.
Awesome. Well, thank you to you, Principal Projects, Tracks Report, for being another incredible sponsor of this event. And we look forward to finding out who is going to win the Tracks Premium package. I was going to think of some great name off the top of my head.
Well, really, that's what it is. It's everything packaged up for you, and you have all the tools to be successful. So go with it.
Very cool. All right. Well, we will see you-ish. You'll see us starting Thursday night, and we'll circle back with you next week. Thank you, Scott, for joining us today.
All right. And all being well, we'll see everybody live in person next year at Country Music Week with Diamonds in the Rough.